Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Sacred Connections podcast. I'm Tanya Morrissey and proudly your spiritual mentor. And today I am joined by the beautiful Sarah, who is a birth doula and the founder of Birth to Rise. Well, if you go back to a few episodes, you see that I had my lovely friend Stefan, who's a death doula. And it gained so much interest because as humans, we do have a natural curiosity when it comes to the cycle of life. You know, we're the only species to understand its own mortality. So death is very curious, but it's also important that we take time to acknowledge birth. And so now that Sarah, who has recently gotten your birth doula certificate, you know, we had to get her on and just dig into her brain and just share her wisdom with us. So if you would like to just share.
Yeah, well, the name actually came to me during one of Tanya's yoga classes. I've been thinking about being a doula for a long time. Well, since I gave birth myself 5 years ago now. So it was kind of already part of the process being a doula, but I couldn't think of a name. And we were in yoga one evening and you were doing our route to rise. And I was like, we route to rise? Well, we birth to rise. You know, rise through this massive process. Empowered, that's my aim, is to help women rise through this rite of passage, feeling empowered and bring that through for the rest of your life. You know?
There's even so much there that you said, I could feel that, like I could feel that off you. Like you do certainly empower women on their birth journey, whether it's through pregnancy or afterwards. You know, again, like I'll dig a little bit deeper into that in a few moments. But like that rite to passage, would you mind just explain a little bit more about that?
Well, the rites of passage of a woman start, you know, with your period, and it's all how you transverse through these passages of life is how you meet at death as well, you know, menopause, all those things. It's all linked together. So this is just one of a rite of passage of a woman. And I don't empower women, they empower themselves. And birth is very empowering. When you understand and you're informed and you take back the power, that's what it's about for me, to help women to feel informed and then empower themselves.
There's so many things that like I would just write down and know just from hearing all that. If you haven't already, absolutely grab a journal and a pen. There's going to be so many one-liners being dropped. But that is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Because there's something, when I heard you say those words, like there's something like deeply rooted within me that I could feel like being activated.
Yeah. Well, how we go through, you know, how you're met with your first period is often how you go through birth, you know, where you're told to be quiet and don't talk about it. And like, I know my mom, I was only having this conversation, I did a little workshop on it. And I was having the conversation with my mom how when I got my first period, she was like, you're a woman now, this is amazing, like, and made such a lovely deal about me. And you know, I got new stuff for my room, like woman things in my room. It was like, I was like, this feels really good, you know? And then that's how I birthed, you know? I felt really good. I really enjoyed it. And I felt that rise through that transition, you know?
And that was before you had any knowledge of doula work?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow. So tell me a bit more then about when you discovered doula and their work, and like maybe for those that are just even hearing that word for the first time, say, like, what does that mean?
Well, a doula is someone that supports somebody. So obviously a death doula would support through the transition of death, but as a birth doula, some doulas start with fertility, but for myself, I start with pregnancy and then labour and postpartum. You know, you can have support the whole way through, you know, give you the evidence-based information.
Is it fair to say, like, it's not a medical intervention, it's like a holistic, like you're considering the whole
it's very, you know, for each person, individualised care. That's what it is, very individualised care. It shouldn't be just put through a system. You know, every body is different, every birth is different, how people see life is different. So that's what a doula is there to support you mentally, physically, informationally, through this transition, you know.
And does it extend beyond the mother then?
Oh yeah, you'd be supporting the partner as well, through it, if there is one, you know. For them to feel part of the process, you know, it can be so connecting for couples to go through this, and they don't have to just stand there and hold your hand. You know, there's much more that they can be involved in, and their fears might come true to the birthing person as well. You know, their fears might influence how the birthing person makes decisions, you know, so that's why you work with them as a couple to connect with this process.
It's very intimate.
Yeah, it's a hugely intimate process,
And say from your own personal experience of, because you've two daughters, two beautiful daughters, aged 5 and 2.5 now, you know, like it's fair to say that you have your own hands-on experience. But you discovered doula work afterwards, right? So from your own personal experience and knowing what you know now, is there something back then that you wished you knew?
Well, I kind of came upon doulas when I was pregnant.
Okay.
Because I was terrified of giving birth. Terrified. Like, I used to close my legs and say, no way, I'm not doing this. And I put off having a baby because I was like, I'm not ready for that, you know, and I didn't think I'd be a good mammy. I was, you know, young and thinking about myself. But then when I got pregnant, we planned our family. When I got pregnant, then I knew I had to change my mindset, or it was going to be a miserable experience for me. In my head, that's what I thought. You know, I can't get pregnant and think like this and live in fear, and it's a long 9 months if you're afraid, you know. And my mom had always told me, like, it'll be grand, you know. She had really positive births, so I should have listened to her, but I didn't. I listened to all the horror stories. And so I came across doulas then when I was pregnant, and the information they shared just made me trust my body and think about like what I wanted and what I didn't want, and know that the decisions were mine to make, and not just thrown into a system where it's a system, you know, this checking boxes, you know.
And as we often say, like, we're grateful for the medical advances.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm not anti-medical at all. Like, the progress in the medical system for birth is hugely life-saving. But the interventions that are deemed sometimes as necessary are not necessary, and it's causing, you know, more trauma than not. You know.
Do you have any examples of what that could be?
You know, like induction of labour, it just makes it harder for women because it's not your natural hormones working together. It's a false hormone that's just contracting your uterus.
Yeah.
So that lovely rise of hormones isn't dulling the pain for you, because your body naturally does that when it's all natural and working together. You know, your body is really, it's looking after you. Like, yeah.
It's a very smart.
And induction is important for some cases, you know, it's life-saving, you know, if you have preeclampsia and stuff like that. It is absolutely essential, but the amount it's used is definitely over what is medically necessary.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing then from your own personal experience, and then learning about doula work and gaining wisdom from other doulas, that you just learned to listen to your own body, to trust your own body. And as you said, rather than listening to the doom stories, which is so like easy to do. Like, I think we're in an age now where everything is so fear-based, which can be a hard time to live in. And like, for something that can be as personal and magical
and those feelings of trust in your body. And, you know, a lot of women talk about trust in your intuition. Well, there's no bigger time to test that than, you know, during your pregnancy and your labour. Listen to your body and your baby work together in unison. We're literally biologically made up to do this, you know, and listening to your body and trusting it and feeling that happen stays with you through the rest of your life. And every time you give birth after that is a different transition, and it changes you slightly again. You know, it helps you go on in life, trust in your body.
And say, like, for a woman who is pregnant and like learning that, you know, how to listen to the body, like, what does that mean? Like, how does one learn to listen to the body? Like, it's, say, in our modern day society, women are still working up till X amount of time, and, you know, and just say from even your professional experience, like, have you seen like women kind of resisting what their body's trying to tell them while they're pregnant? Or
yeah, I suppose a lot of what you see is just women not really understanding the makeup of how our hormones work together.
Okay.
You know, and how that, I think when you understand that, you trust that your body is actually going to be able to do this. Not that you're going to need interventions, that your body is actually able to do this, you know. Then as you come through into birth, then it's, you know, when, you know, if you're birthing in the hospital or where you want to birth, maybe you know that you don't want to give birth in a hospital, that you're safe and comfortable at home. And that is somewhere that makes you feel safe and comfortable, and that's where you should be birthing, you know. Bright lights, all that jazz, busy hospitals isn't always where people are going to, you know, really connect with their body.
Very recently, I had a friend sharing her birth experience with me, that it came on just very quickly all of a sudden while she was in the hospital. And the thing that she remembers so vividly is that she wasn't in the right room because the lights were too bright. And
that messes with your oxytocin, like that messes with your hormones. Like they say you should give birth where in similar environment to where you would have sex. Like, you know, or you do want to have sex where there's bright lights, loads of people going like, are you okay in there? Or you're not doing that right.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe you should try this position. Like you're going to be like, I'm not enjoying this.
That's it.
You know? So yeah, it's looking after all your environments. And then when you're in labour, listening to your body, the positions, the way you move. You know, you hear a lot of people want to clean their windows. One woman I trained with, she cleaned her windows.
Stop.
I clean my house. Like obviously I would recommend rest in early labour. But, you know, women like to sometimes stay active and stay moving, and that's all making space for your baby to move out, you know. That initial kind of burst of nesting, the morning you go into labour, is really keeping you active to move your baby down, you know.
My mum finished her food shop, so she did.
Yeah.
And that was on myself and Leo. I'll never forget when she told us that story. She was in Tesco, she had 3 other kids hanging out with her. And her answer was, Tara, I didn't have time.
Yeah.
So she finished what she was doing, and then 10 minutes and whatever was going on.
Yeah, and there's so many funny stories here. Like my mum walked down to the doctor, I think, to tell him she was in labour, and then walked back home.
So funny.
No. But yeah, that's like listening to your body, you know. It's that thing of like, right, I'm just going to clean the house before I settle into labour here. But it's your body telling you to stay active, to keep moving, to make space.
Yeah. And I think that's important for women to hear, especially for first time, if they just don't know what to look out for. Like how, like say if I was listening to this and I'm pregnant, I'm like, okay, but how do I listen to my body? What would that feel like? But everything you said there, it's like just know that you even have the choice.
Yes,
Isn't that the biggest thing? Just for women to understanding that they do have a choice.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't be scared to explore.
Yeah. Yeah, choice is important, you know. You might not enjoy a vaginal exam, you know, you might, because sometimes they offer them like before you're in labour. And I know one woman that had one in the hospital before she went in, just to check was she progressing before labour started. And she thought they were really uncomfortable. And if someone does that to you while you're in labour, that's going to, you know, it's all about your hormones working together and creating a safe environment. And if something comes in and makes you feel really uncomfortable, you know, that's going against the natural makeup of what progresses labour. And then that's why things slow down, because all these interventions are done. You know, if you're not informed, you know, you could absolutely choose to have a vaginal exam. You know, I'm not saying don't do this or don't do that. It's whatever feels right for you.
So what do most women not know then when it comes to their rights of choice, and like what choices are there?
I think that women just don't know that they have the choice, that you don't have to, you know, be induced at 39 weeks or on a bank holiday weekend or, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, that they can make the decisions for themselves and not just be part of the conveyor belt, you know.
And so when you're working with people one-on-one, do you work with like just first times, or is it from all stages?
No. So if first time moms, obviously, we were talking earlier, the connected birth series will be really beneficial for them, because that's kind of a deep dive of like start to finish what labour looks like, what interventions look like, understanding your natural physiological birth process, understanding how your hormones work. So all that information then brings you to, you know, your labour and delivery or labour and birth, and understanding your choices and why you're making the choices. just giving you all the information, and it's unbiased. Like, I'm not there to say this is an intervention and this, you shouldn't take this and you shouldn't take that. It's just giving them in-depth information about what your body goes through.
Yeah.
And how things affect it. And then the choice is theirs too.
Are you literally with them like step by step through like the entire like
For
pregnancy,
full
or-
doula support, yeah, you would be. Well, as soon as they contact you, you
Yeah.
know, and then so if someone contacted me for doula support and they wanted private doula support with attending their birth and postpartum, so that's like the whole package. You would do antenatal preparation with them in their own home, you know, so they don't have to travel anywhere. You go to them, do their prep with them, you'd have constant contact with them. Then you're obviously there for labour and birth, and then postpartum support as well.
Aw.
So that would be the whole package, you know.
Doulas
You're on the
really
journey
are-
with them, yeah.
They're so essential to society because like even just thinking back, say way back when, especially in Celtic,
Yeah.
like tradition, like community was everything, and especially women, like women come together to support each other through birth, afterwards, you know, like dinners could have been cooked.
Yeah.
Women were beside you when giving birth. Like, how do we bring more of that back?
Yeah, I think just the birth revolution is coming around.
Ooh,
and I
birth
think
revolution, yes.
Yeah, I think when, you know, taking back those rites of passage, taking back, like, no shame with periods, like allowing women to make decisions for themselves in birth, you know, all that is going to create that sense of community, that we are not being shunned away to do these things in private or being disconnected from our bodies. I think connecting women with their bodies is going to connect women with community as well.
Oh, that's powerful. Connecting women with their bodies is going to connect women together.
It's another one-liner.
That, I'm telling you, girl, there's so many. I'll be taking notes after this because it's just really powerful stuff.
Yeah. If you have women going around that have had these empowering birth experiences, you know, they're going to want to share that.
Yeah.
Because they want other women to feel like this, you know.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be a secret. We want to share this magic of empowering people.
And especially because you know, again, you have 2 children, you
Yeah.
know hands-on, like the level of support that's required.
Yeah.
And like to make this as relatable as we can, you know, especially for those that are watching and listening, like especially post,
Yeah.
like how could we be supporting women more who are just after giving birth?
I think women need to be just really cared for. This whole, you know, bounce back culture and getting up to go to hospital appointments and 6-week checks, like they should be done in your house. You know, you should be still connecting with your baby, and it shouldn't be just like, oh, do you want contraception there? You know, you're 6 weeks.
They offer that 6 weeks?
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And like they don't, in general, it's not about the mother, you know, it's not how are you feeling, how is your mental health, how does your body feel? You know, it's so massive. And that's why, you know, as a doula postnatally, you would be going in to support the mother, helping like some light housework, maybe giving them time to rest, providing meals, nourishing meals. Like you shouldn't be eating salads and, you know, drinking cold smoothies after having a baby. It's all warm, nourishing, bringing your body back, you know, slowly.
Slowly, I think, is the key
Yeah.
word there.
Yeah.
Because as you said, the bounce back culture is
Yeah.
strong. It's quite toxic
Yeah.
and it's just so unhealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so teaching women, I suppose, like as you said there, like even there, I want to realize like not opting for the lighter foods like salads or
Yeah.
smoothies, like to have your nourishing
Yeah.
meals, like have a full breakfast, have your
Yeah.
lunch, have your dinner,
Yeah.
like real wholesome meals, which sounds like such obvious advice, but it's actually not.
No.
Just with the societal expectation and like your views on what you think is healthy,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because of course, not only do you want to be healthy for you, but if you're a woman who's breastfeeding
Yeah.
even and like sharing that to
Yeah.
your baby, but say for support around them, you know, because like families, unfortunately, like I feel so sorry for families nowadays with the amount of pressure
Yeah.
of having to go back to work,
Yeah.
trying to get support from, I don't know, maybe Crash is probably still a bit too young, from 6 months, I don't know. Help just doesn't seem so available
Yeah.
anymore. So how could a family, like siblings or parents or partners, like how does a woman ask for help, how would you support them to even ask for the right help, if that makes sense? Like what?
I get a doula.
I think like that. Yeah, get a doula, guys.
Get a doula.
I hope that question makes sense.
Yeah, well, you'd be encouraging the mother just to, take it slow, and for the family to respect that as well. Putting boundaries in place. You should be resting and letting your body come back slowly, and getting up and making tea for 20 visitors, like coming to see the baby. That's not what a woman needs after giving birth, And some people like that, and that's fine. If that's what you want, then, but sit down and rest with your baby and make sure somebody else makes the tea.
Yeah.
Or when they come in, that they tidy up or bring a meal.
Yeah.
All that stuff. If you do want visitors, or if you do want to go out and about, like, just have it so that you're still really minding yourself and letting yourself connect with your baby and your body.
Again, powerful. Respect that. Yeah, as someone who's wanting to help either the partner or a loved one or a friend who's currently pregnant or is just after giving birth, even just maybe ask what do they need,
or if you're going to visit your friend that just had a baby, bring food and clean one thing when you get there.
I think that's solid advice.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
Yeah, that's all. And because if I was at home and my friend came over, I'm not going to ask her to put away my clothes or put a wash on or wash my dishes. But if you go out to make a cup of tea when you're out there, wash the dishes.
Yeah.
And bring a meal with you. Like, my friend dropped me off food for both my kids. And the evening that you don't have to make a meal and you don't have to think about it. And you have nice, like, homemade food. Like, it's like, oh, this is so nice.
That community connection, like that is what.
And I think if more people knew that, that it's not all about the baby grows and the fur baby jackets. You don't need those. That fur baby jacket is not going to be worn.
Yeah.
Bring a lasagna or something. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be a nourishing homemade meal.
So from the woman's point of view, it's supposed to be confidence to communicate your boundaries.
Yeah.
And then for those that are listening to the boundaries, to not take it personally.
Yes, absolutely.
To actually just respect them.
Yeah.
And then, happy mother, happy baby as well.
And then going back out into your community.
Yeah.
Happier, more mentally well, all that,
Yeah. And so you mentioned there then Connected Birth Series.
Yeah.
So would you tell us about what you do specifically then? So with your one-on-one care support and then the Connected Birth Series.
Yeah. With me, I offer doula support, so the whole journey. I offer private birth preparation, so that would be, your antenatal preparation, say without the birth support, if that's what you wanted. If you just, maybe if you already birthed already and you would like to birth again in a different way or just more supported, but you didn't want someone at your birth, the antenatal prep is really good for that. So that's private in your house as well with you and your partner.
So antenatal
couple of sessions,
birth preparation, and support throughout pregnancy. And so that involved teaching them the rites, any techniques, exercises.
Active birthing, understanding their body and whatever they need, if they've had a previous birth, you debrief on that and hopefully release any fears, work on that, so they're going in more prepared and more positive. And then obviously I'll be bringing snacks and meals, obviously, to their
that's important.
Sessions. So that's the private support. And then I do birth planning sessions. They're just little, writing a birth plan is really important because it's what you communicate with your care provider.
Okay.
Especially if you're birthing in hospital. So that's kind of just a little session where I'd sit down and help someone create a really comprehensive birth plan. So as well that, they've probably done their own preparation and I'm just helping them put it on paper to communicate with their care providers. But I love doing them. They're lovely little sessions.
Yeah.
Then the Connected Birth Series is 6-week journey of preparation. So,
and that's in a group.
That's in a group, yeah. And I do 1 week where the partners come for the active birth, and that's kind of like a run through of labour.
Wow.
So it's also like advocacy skills for the partner, when you have them there.
Yeah.
And help them, because their partner's probably going home going, this is what I want and I learned this and I don't want this.
So would
and
your
just to help
advice
them.
be include the partner as much as possible?
Oh yeah,
throughout?
absolutely, yeah.
And say for
Yeah.
someone who doesn't have a partner, would they be able to bring just whoever they
Oh yeah, whoever
trust,
you
support, or
are birthing with, whoever
Yeah.
your birth partner is.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, they have to be. You have to be on the same page, or else there's no point in having them there.
yeah, they won't know how to support
No,
you.
exactly, yeah, yeah. My birth partner was useless
Oh,
twice.
oh no.
You know, I have his full permission to say that.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he was useless. So I know what that's like. And there is a point in labour that you can't advocate for yourself, you know, and you
Okay.
shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to be saying, no, I don't want this, when you shouldn't be thinking about that. You
So
need to
the
be in
person
your body,
who's going
not
to
your
be
brain.
there with. So the woman giving birth needs to be in her body, not her
Yes.
brain.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And so whoever is there to support, to advocate,
Yeah.
to speak up, and I
They need
suppose
to be the brain,
know
you know.
the birth plan.
Yeah, oh yeah, understand
Yeah.
the birth plan totally. So
Yeah, no, that's really powerful. So
Yeah.
you bring them in as part of the Connected Birth
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
Beautiful.
yeah. And it's really nice then to see it all coming together, like
Oh, I'd say,
Yeah.
what do you find the most rewarding part then of your work?
just seeing people make the choices for themselves and knowing why. You know, they're not just saying, oh, I don't want that because I read somewhere that, or I saw someone else didn't, say yes, you could say no to this and I don't want that. And really understanding why you're making that choice and why it feels right for you. You know, the person next to you might say, oh, I 100% want the epidural.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's work out how that can work best for you. And then the next person might say, no way, I'm not having an epidural. That's fine. That's
Yeah.
your choice.
Yeah, that's really powerful
Yeah.
stuff. Really powerful
So it's just
stuff.
seeing people kind of feeling empowered, when even teaching about the hormones and you see people going like, oh my God, like our bodies actually really do work to get this going and to, like, it all works together and like, yes,
Yeah.
this is what I want and I didn't know that. A lot of it I didn't know till I did my training.
And that's
And I felt-
literally
yeah.
what I was about to ask, like, what stood out to you the most when you were doing your training?
Because I felt like I thought I was totally prepared first time. Second time, I was like, I'm going to ace this. And
Been there, done that.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm even more prepared this time. But I would 100% have a doula if I was birthing again. Because they're just there to hold your space, to remind you. It's like a little reminder. Like, she knows that I know. Yeah.
And it just seems like a very, well-rounded approach that you support them through their physical health,
Yeah.
their mental and emotional, but then also spiritual.
Yeah.
Can I ask a little bit more about the spiritual aspect of your work?
Well, I find it very spiritual because I have felt that really spiritual side of it, and the empowering yourself and stuff like that. So some people might not want anything spiritual, just this is just birth and that's it. But, there's really lovely spiritual aspects to giving birth and it's just very personal. If someone has a preference they enjoy, bring that into the spiritual side of it then. But I don't push my own spiritual
Oh, of course.
things
You're a great space holder.
Yeah. It's just, it's nice to ask women when you're preparing with them, like, is there any little rituals that you like to, and that you would like to bring in? Like, there's a really nice, if you pause, you can, if you do a birth pause just before your baby is born, and mentally and emotionally release them into the world. Like, it's just that little moment of we're connected and you're coming earthside now. It's just a really nice moment. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'd be too soft for this kind of stuff. I'm like,
Oh, I'm a crier, so people see me cry all the time.
yeah. Raw. But it's true though, you're connected quite literally.
Yeah.
But of course they're going to
And it's nice to
receive
take that pause of you were inside me and now you're coming out.
And then here they are.
Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful,
Yeah.
Sarah. Thank you so much for just sharing all of that.
Yeah.
The role of a doula is so important in our community
It is. It
now
really
more
is.
than ever.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people think, oh, it's just, all that woo-woo, but it's not, it's not all about saying no to everything medical. It's not anti-medical. We're not
accurate.
fighting with the midwives. It's nothing like that. It's just, ensuring that a woman is in control and is the only deciding factor, you know.
And just all that additional support and everything, to make it a joyous experience, you know, because you said there a few minutes ago that you found you really grew from the experience.
Absolutely.
In what way?
I just, like, those feelings of empowerment and trust in myself, it really stayed with me, you know, and it changed me as a person. And not just because I had little humans to look after, you know, just knowing that I knew what was right for me. In every aspect of life. It stays with you, like.
Sure, come here, you came on to be a birth doula. You know, like you didn't just talk to talk, you really walked the walk, and now you're walking alongside other women in this journey and families and like making a real impact on the community. So just thank you for that. You know, like birth is a natural part of life, and it can be as ritualistic and celebrated, you know, and I think if or when even we step into that energy more, it will come back to more natural roots. And it's just bringing back ancient wisdom.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not that it has to be a natural birth to be empowering. No, you could absolutely have an epidural and feel empowered, or you could have a cesarean and feel empowered. That's what I am here for. I'm not saying, oh, you need to have a physiological natural birth to feel that. No, you don't. You know, if you want to have a planned cesarean, you can still make that you are, you know, it's woman-centered. That's the whole point of what we do, is making the birth experience woman-centered and individualized woman-centered.
As it should be. You know, women are the ones that, don't get me wrong, love men.
Yeah,
but like,
absolutely.
Women are the ones that carry life, bring life into this world. So so there has to be that extra love and care there when it comes to supporting women through this process. And just thank you so much for the work that you do. And just even coming on today. Is there anything else that you just would like to share? Any advice or for people that may be listening?
I think just reach out for support, even if it is just a text, you know, to me, or say, you know, if you want to ask a question, just slide into my DMs.
And where could people find you then?
Birth to Rise on Instagram is my Birth to Rise Sarah.
People will remember that name, Birth to Rise.
Not it. Yeah, well, thank you for your yoga classes, for inspiring that.
Come here, wisdom gained is wisdom shared, and it's really just lovely to just see your journey and just see the impact that you make, and just like it's the amount of women that have been just being like, you need to reach out to Sarah, you need to, and if you're not within reach, then just look up birth doulas. You know, I just think you've such an essential role in our modern day society to empower women, to empower families, and just bringing back just beautiful, like women-centered and births, whatever way that is, for as you said, very individual. But just thank you again.
Thank you.
And for everyone that has been listening, I hope that you did enjoy this episode. I will be leaving all of Sarah's contact details in the caption below, but we would love to hear your comments, any insights. If you found this episode useful, please do share this to whoever you feel may also benefit from Sarah's sharings. There we go. But thank you all so much. I'm sending you my love always.